God damn it, Adidas. You had one job. They've managed to mess up one of my favorite boots from last year. It was second place in my boot of the year, and they've gone and tweaked it, and they've gone and played with it. Leave the damn thing alone. They've done like one good thing and like 4 bad things. In its current state, this wouldn't have got in my top 5 for boots of the year for last year. This is, I don't know, Adidas have an obsession with messing up Messi boots. This, very, very good. This, because of this, goddamn disappointing. Okay, I will calm myself slightly. We will come back to these in a second. I have here the box, and I just want to show you that you still get the second set of insoles. So you get the comfort insoles along with the speed insoles, which are inside the boot right now. They're exactly the same as you got before in terms of quality. I really like that they put in 2 sets of insoles. Nice win there. You also get a string bag. I'm just gonna pop this over here. Now the string bag, I haven't looked at yet because it came like this. It came in like this little kind of like folded pocket. Kind of thought that was cute, so I haven't actually taken it out. But this is the string bag. It's decent quality. I like that we're getting custom string bags now. Messi logo, white and black, white and black. Cool. All right, that's done. Back to the ranting. For anyone that doesn't know, this is an updated version of the Messi F50 that we got last year, which is essentially a much closer variation of the F50 to what Messi wears. You get his burrito style tongue, you get the hybrid touch upper. You're basically giving a little bit of that Messi vibe, and this was an exceptional boot. In this instance, in this iteration, what we've done is we've taken inspiration, in my view at least, from the F50.9, which I'll put up on screen because I don't have a pair of those, and also the F50.7. So it's not often I get to break these out. You can kind of see why. Look at the state of them. But this is the F50.7 Tune It, and you can see that the stripes pattern and the way it flows is very, very similar, yet at the same time, the colorway here and also kind of this silver section to me a little bit reminds me of that F50.9 because the colorway is very much that, and the F50.9 had that clear see-through, the alles klar, I don't speak German, section in it where you could see through the boots, and they've taken inspiration from both of those, and I must say in hand they look an awful lot nicer than I thought they would when I saw them in the pictures. There is debate to be had, of course, about this big Messi branding on the side here. It does seem a bit much, and I could definitely do without it. This on the heel is adequate. We didn't need Messi to be on there. But if it looks good, what's the problem? Let's start with the one good thing here. Now, this isn't actually good for me personally, but I think most people are going to enjoy this. The end of the boot has been adjusted. So if I put the 2 side by side here, you can kind of see that there's a different shape going on, but the bigger difference is if I just do this. You can see that there's just a little bit more volume through the toe box of the boot here, and that does carry up into the boot quite nicely. And I think for the majority of people, that's going to be a nice change to not be squeezed, to not have quite as much pinch in that toe box area. I think that's a win for the majority of people. Personally, I quite like the fit here. I quite like that kind of slightly lower pinched feeling. I can still get my toes in, it's still comfortable, but most people going to prefer this. So I think the change here is positive. It's a little bit of a shape change. We'll give Adidas a pass for that. Next up, what's stayed the same? Well, what is the same is the outsole. So let's put these side by side. You can see that it is the same sprint frame 360 outsole, and I really like this. I think it is a really great complement to this particular boot. It's not the most aggressive, it's not the most speed boot, but it is plenty responsive, plenty stable. Overall, I think this is a really nicely balanced multi-directional sole plate. I think this is one of the best sole plates on the market for so many uses, so not upset at all that this stays. Do I think it's okay for AG? I wouldn't recommend it. It's a little aggressive. The studs are a little bit on the long side. However, it's not the worst. There's worse out there, and I have used this one on AG quite a few times, and it's turned out just fine. So not recommended, but you could do an awful lot worse. The lacing system is the same, the burrito style tongue is the same material, and I'll see if I can show you here. This is the burrito style tongue. So it's attached at one side, and then it pulls out and wraps round the side of the boot. Now, I've never been a fan of the burrito style tongue, but these are supposed to be Messi's boots. This is what Messi likes, and he very famously has a burrito style tongue. So I think to put it on these to give us it is great. I think that's a cool idea. It's the right thing to do. I don't love it, but it's completely fine, and it is the same across both boots, along with that central lacing system. Heel counter, heel fit, both exactly the same. That means that it is decent. It wasn't amazing or mind-blowing, but it absolutely did its job. No slippage, no complaints. And that was the thing about this boot. It did an awful lot of things incredibly well while being reasonably simple. So that is the good done. That is the meh, they didn't change it and it's fine or good finished, which leaves us with the changes from this point on, which are basically all bad. We'll start with the heel material. This is the most minor and insignificant change, but I noticed it and I was getting annoyed, so I'm going to point it out. They've changed this material ever so slightly. It is not the same synthetic suede that runs through this boot. This is plush, this is nicer, this is more similar to what is on the insole. I have no idea how well you're seeing this on the above camera, but it is just not quite as premium. But that's fine, and it doesn't really make a difference to the performance. But it's the first step. Moving on. Next up, we have this instep design, which is a little bit kind of reminiscent of the F50.7, but realistically, I think this is closer to that see-through F50.9 idea. Now, by putting this in with this different piece of material and this different shape in here, what you've done is you've created a very solid section here compared to the rest of the boot. Like, look, when I squeeze down, there's an actual divide just here caused by this groove, and you have a much stiffer piece of material. Completely different to what we got here. Got a little bit of it just down here, but this was all soft. Now, you could argue that that's going to give you some structure and blah, blah, blah. I am going to argue that what this does is it adjusts the shape of the boot so that it is worse for more people. So what's going to happen here is you're going to create dead space for a lot of people because you've pushed that up. So if your foot doesn't fit the shape, you have no option anymore to kind of fill this out, allow it to mold with your foot because of a stupid design choice. Or alternatively, you're not going to be able to wear it at all if you have that kind of flatter foot and you really want to push out into the boot. This was a reasonably good option for those wider, flatter feet because you could push it out, you could really kind of stretch it out and get into it. That idea has been somewhat ruined by this stupid design choice. I don't actually think it's there to fulfill any other purpose than how it looks. And this isn't even the worst thing. I just think that that was a really silly decision. Then on this side, we have exactly the same. We have that kind of stiffer area, but because I'm not expecting my arch to fit in there, that's not so much of a big deal. And you can say that it's going to give you a little bit more structure through the lateral side of the boot. It's probably not to any significant degree. I wouldn't be that impressed with it, and to have to get that, bleh, terrible. Next complaint. The next complaint is 3 complaints all rolled into one. Now I assume, and I did mention this a second ago with regards to kind of structure, maybe upper responsiveness, upper stability, that Adidas have seen that as a problem on the previous model and gone about trying to fix it. However, in order to fix it, what they've done is they've essentially given more structure to the boot, which means it is not nearly as soft. This is a much stiffer, more plastic feeling upper than what you got on this particular model. I mean, you can tell the difference just by me pushing it like this. Now, admittedly, these have been used, these have not, but I can tell you from experience, from trying multiple pairs of these, that the difference here is enormous. This is so much stiffer. So you could argue, yes, I absolutely need to go out, give these a go, break them in, and see if I can get them to this point. But these didn't need that in the first place, so that's already a downside. In doing this, they've changed the liner on the inside for sure. The liner doesn't feel as nice, but you're not really going to notice it on feet. But again, that feels like a huge part of this overall structural change, where the liner is maybe more structured, it's just not giving enough elasticity or any additional stretch, and it's made the whole upper feel more stiff. It's making the whole upper feel a little bit thinner, which you could say is a positive, but it's absolutely not a trade-off I would have been willing to make for, so thinner upper, more structured upper, but I would not have traded that for the softness, pliability, and comfort of this upper. Absolutely foolish in my opinion, and just really, really disappointing, especially when you combine it with this stupid thing in here. Then we've got the, I'm assuming is going to still be called Fiber Touch, the kind of ribbing that runs all the way around the boot. Now, I don't have a huge problem with this. I'm just ranting, I suppose, at this point, but it was a little bit more discreet on this boot, on the original one. This is just kind of a few little lines here and there, just to give you a little bit of extra kind of touch, a little bit of extra help on the ball. Now, this did vary from colorway to colorway, but it was always subdued enough. Here, we've just ramped it up to 11 for no apparent reason. We've got the F50 for this. I had an F50. No, I don't. Anyway, we've got the F50 for this if we want all of that really aggressive texture. That's not what the Messi needed to be. Anyway, so now we have these much more raised, much more aggressive areas. Like here, let's do some ASMR. That actually should prove my point pretty impressively. So much more raised, much more aggressive, which again adds to the overall stiffness of the boot because you're adding an element that's going to impact it so much more. And on top of that, what you're going to do is you're going to start to impact the touch a whole lot more. So you've gone from this really soft, comfortable boot with a very natural feeling on the ball, but with a little bit of assistance with the touch. And then you've shifted it to this stiffer, this overly grippy or overly textured upper instead. And I don't understand why. This was a great option. It's like they saw problems that weren't really there or were small problems and decided, hell, let's wreck everything that was good about this in order to do this. And like I say, we have the F50, the regular F50, to do all of these things. If you're looking for something with that slightly stiffer upper, you're looking for something with a slightly more responsive feel, you're looking for something with a really much more intense, gritty, grippy feel on the ball, then you can buy the regular F50. The Messi doesn't have to be essentially a borderline clone of that with a burrito tongue. It was absolutely not needed. I will say that I keep bringing up the F50, that this is a slightly more rubberized texture than what you get on the F50, which is definitely a little bit different, but at the same time, I just think too much. And it really has, like, it's small changes, but small changes can make a big difference. And that upper being so much stiffer has genuinely annoyed me. And I can't. Get over there. If after all that you still want to buy a pair, here is your sizing information. I would go for the same size you bought the previous generation in, which for me was my normal Adidas size, which is a 255mm, 25.5 centimeter football boot, which is half a size smaller than I would traditionally buy in, for example, a Nike boot. Remember, you do have that little bit of extra volume, so you might get a little bit more kind of give in your sizing with this particular model. In terms of the width, there is actually a reasonable amount of width through the top of the boot. However, as I said, be very careful of this instep area here. If you have a flatter foot, I think this is absolutely going to cause you a few problems. But if you have a little bit of a high volume foot, you might get away with it. That's the sizing advice. If you do want to buy a pair, I'll leave some links down in the top pinned comment and in the description. And also, of course, do get subscribed to the channel and like this video. It helps out a lot. You can also become a member to the channel, where you get videos like this way before anybody else, along with some huge discounts on grip socks and some members only exclusive live streams and videos. So let's weigh these. Let's throw them on the old scales. Now, do bear in mind that these are half size bigger than these, simply because I could not get my size in these delivered from Adidas. So when I do the full playtest, which I will do quite soon, I will get the same size as this, but I wanted to show you the boots. I wanted to go through it. These are half size bigger. They come in at 191 grams, and these ones coming in at 189 grams. So the chances are that in the same size, these are going to be lighter, but by grams, like 1 or 2 grams, which honestly could be down to colorway. Could also be down to the fact that I've got the comfort insole in this one and the speed insole in this one. They're the same weight. But you know what they're not? They're not the same boot. They're not even close to the same boot. And if I was you, I would go out and buy these while they are still available and bin off these entirely. Full playtest to come. I'm maybe being too harsh, but for now, absolutely not. And if you want to see a quick review of these, click this video right here.